In this lesson, we're looking to set up an armbar from side control where we have an underhook. But in fact, we're going to expand beyond that. We're going to look at a whole little game plan from side control when we have the underhook. What I mean by the underhook here is my right hand has a deep underhook on David's arm. Now, we don't want to teach this armbar in isolation, so we're going to talk about this whole little idea here. We have both of our hands over. My knees are touching David's ribs and his head. My elbows are touching his ribs and his head. So that's 4 points of my body in contact with him, and my head is laying on the right side holding his arm. So we call that 5-point control. Right knee, right elbow, right ear. With 5-point control, and we're going to move away from the armbar for a second here. If I have my right ear here, and David wants to move his arm to the upside of my head, I can feel that and have time to lift my hand up. So he runs right into my left hand. See that again? So if I don't have it there, his hand might move around and I've missed the opportunity. If I tilt my head to the right and I've got my radar on, I can feel his hand coming around, set my left hand up and have him walk into figure fours time and time again. It's such a simple idea and so easy to get taps like this. But there's a giant difference. Head here, it will not work. You'll miss the chance. Head tilted to the right, I can feel it and my hand's already in place and I just let him run right into it every single time. So we like to set this little mousetrap here, but it's only going to work in conjunction with my radar. So having that right ear down is crucial. So when we say 5-point control, it's a short base side control, right knee, right elbow, left elbow, and the right ear. If you don't have that ear there, you're going to miss out on a lot of figure four opportunities there. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, what if he doesn't move his hand? All right, I'm going to post my left hand near his head. I'm going to pull him right up off the ground because I want to make a space to step around under just like a far armbar from knee right. I want to make space here. But now what I need to do is I need to get his arm, which is around my neck, below my shoulder. And how I do that is my hand pulls to the right while my body goes to the left. See that? So I'm pulling this way and getting my shoulder on top of his arm. Once I do that, I can then apply a stapling effect to his armbar. My wrist is right up under here, but my body weight's down here, which puts a lot of pressure on that humerus bone, giving it a bow-like shape and making it extraordinarily difficult, if not impossible, for him to pull that arm out. If I have this arm and my shoulder directly above each other, there's no stapling power and he can get his arm free. So there's a lot of detail here. Post, up, wrench it so that my shoulder goes on top, crush. He tries to get his arm out of there, it's not going anywhere. Now my right knee, this leg, slides on the ground and goes under his armpit. Before I step over, sit on his face. So I'm clamping him in with my knees. I've never taken the pressure off the crush. I've now got 2 attacks. The first one is armbar. We step up down near his belt line, like a little knee ride. Turn the corner and then finish. See, I've got my knees squeezing. If I didn't stand up down near his belt line, and from here I just stood up where it was comfortable and natural for me to stand up, when I spin and sit, I'm sitting on my own ankle. So I'm basically sitting like this and my knees are flaring out. The further my feet are apart, the easier it is for me to get my knees squeezed. When my feet come together, my knees naturally flare out. If my feet cross, my knees really flare out. So it's about where the feet are, and we want knees squeezed. So again, here, post, up, rip it, crush. Knee under the armpit, sit on his head. My left foot comes down here, so my feet are a long way apart. When I turn the corner, then my knees are really squeezing really tightly, and then I can finish my armbar. Very common mistake that people make there is they stand up here and they sit on their own ankle when they turn instead of standing up down at the belt line. Now, the other thing we can do there, 5-point control, post, up, wrench, crush. Right knee under his armpit, sit on his head. I want to swap the crush. If I can find a way to swap my crushing hand from my right to my left, that frees up my right hand to do a figure 4 arm lock or a kimura. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to overlap my hands just like that, and I'm going to jackhammer them through. So now I've swapped the crush from left to right, freeing my right hand to grab his wrist, left hand to grab my wrist, up and apply the finish, the figure 4. By jackhammering it through, all I'm doing is that anytime I swap my hands, there's a window of opportunity for him to escape. So by doing that jackhammer, the window's there, but it's opening and closing too quickly for him to take an advantage of. So jackhammering is better than one big action to swap the hand. So once again, what are my 3 attacks from 5-point control? 1, he moves his hand back, my radar picked it up, there's my figure 4. 2, he doesn't move his hand back, post. Up, rip it, crush, right down to the armpit, sit on his face. From here I can go 2 ways. Armbar, foot to the belt, turn the corner and finish. Crushing, knee under the arm, sit on his face. Kimura finish, overlap the hands, jackhammer it through, right hand grabs his wrist, left hand grabs my wrist, pull it up and make the finish. Great, just a great series. All from side control, all with the underhook. So there are a lot of reasons why we want the underhook in the course of the fight. But that's a great reason when you've just transitioned past his guard into side control. If you can affect the situation so that you have the underhook, you really not only make it very difficult for him to escape, but you've just got some fantastic attack combinations on his far arm there.
And if I could just add one point. Of course, John calls this the up and crush because you're pulling up and crushing. But remember when John was saying to switch the knee under there before you step over, that's very important for that kimura attack. Because if you come here and you don't switch that knee and you just sort of move your body over here, you haven't given control of the arm, he can escape the kimura. So it's important to get that knee under before you step, so now his head and his arm are trapped underneath, which makes it excellent control for me to now finish the kimura because I've completely isolated his upper body. Just a little point there.